told you previously how the Trans-Pacific Partnership could improve trade between the U.S. and the other 11 nations involved in the agreement. As part of the Huerman Lecture Series from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, international ag trade was the focus for this week's latest presentation from former U.S. Secretary of Ag Clayton Yeutter and current Chief Agricultural Trade Negotiator for the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative, Darci Vetter. Both are Nebraska natives and talked on UNL's Innovation Campus Tuesday night about past and future trade opportunities. We spoke with Darci before the Huerman Lecture about the TPP, potential biotechnology concerns, and the importance of foreign ag trade to farmers and ranchers here in the U.S.
Agricultural trade is critical for U.S. producers. 20% of farm income comes directly from our exports to other countries, so you can imagine if those opportunities were taken away, what that would mean for farmers' pockets. But we see our job at USTR and across the government as maintaining and increasing opportunities for exports so that as our production increases, there are more opportunities to send those products overseas.
Let's talk about the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Can you give me a brief overview of how difficult and complex it is to get something like this through?
Well, it's hard to get two nations to agree to anything. Try 12. So it was an incredibly complex negotiation. It took almost 7 years of work to get all of those countries on the same page. And a trade agreement like this, being comprehensive in nature, has not only agreements where each country reduces its tariffs towards other countries, but signs up to very high standards on the rules side as well. So specific rules on the protection of intellectual property, rules to make sure that their sanitary and phytosanitary standards, the animal and plant health rules they have that have such an impact on our ag exports, are all based on science and that they are transparent so our producers know what they will face at the border. New rules. TPP has the first ever rules on things like state-owned enterprises, which can obviously compete on unfair terms with our producers as they try to sell their ag products. First ever rules in the labor and environment area to combat trade and environment related problems like illegal wildlife trafficking or trade in illegal timber. So a very broad agreement that takes a long time to agree to all of that language.
This is something that has to go through Congress. Are you concerned about how long it might take to do that?
Well, certainly we want to work with Congress to make the case for TPP. And earlier this year we passed the Trade Promotion Authority Bill, which creates the procedures by which Congress considers a trade agreement. And what it says is that during the agreement, we agree to sit down with Congress to talk them through the negotiating process, to meet certain objectives that they give us for that negotiation, and consult with them along the way. And in exchange, when that agreement is finished, they agree to vote for it in an up or down way. So right now we're in a critical 90-day period. When the agreement is completed, when we shake hands with those other countries, the President then informed Congress that he's preparing to enter into this agreement. There's a 90-day period when we get the chance to educate Congress, stakeholders, the general public about what's in it and why it's important. So we're spending a lot of time with members of Congress to tell them what we think TPP will mean for expanded trade for the United States, and then hope to garner their support and work with them to push that through Congress.
Are other countries concerned about how long it might take to go through Congress?
We're all watching each other, and so yes, I think that's right. I think it's important to remember that for many countries, they have to change critical rules and standards. I think what's interesting about TPP is that there are very few legal changes the United States will have to make, but other countries will have to change their IP protection laws, their labor and environment standards. TPP really allows the United States to export the way that we do business, and our TPP partners will have to come up to that standard. So for them to make those changes, they want to know that we're very serious about moving this through our process as well. So I think you'll see a lot of countries moving together to get this through their legislative process.
Let's talk about other areas. Let's focus on China and maybe Europe, and certainly this was a problem in China about a year ago, a little more than a year ago. Biotechnology and GMOs. Are you concerned that in the future this is going to be another hurdle for the United States?
Well, certainly we have seen challenges, particularly when the United States has approved and is planting certain biotech varieties that aren't yet approved in another country. And that's what we saw last year with China blocking exports of corn and DDGs because they contain varieties of biotech events that were not yet approved in China. We've been working diligently with China over the past couple of years to talk to them about improving their regulatory system. making sure that it's based on science, encouraging them to start their scientific review of these products more quickly. Just recently, we had a meeting with them in China in November, where we talked about further cooperative efforts to look at how we might improve the efficiency of that system. But going forward, I think we have an opportunity as new types of breeding techniques go forward to try and work with other countries to better harmonize our regulatory approaches to those crop varieties.
What else is on the horizon?
Well, we also are engaged in the negotiation of the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, or the TTIP as we call it, which is the free trade agreement we're negotiating with Europe. And it's a huge opportunity for the global economy that still is recovering from some difficult years, for these two huge economies to unite and integrate through this trade agreement. But agriculture will not be an easy part of that negotiation, and we see a number of issues with Europe related not just to the fact that they have significantly higher tariffs than we do, but that a lot of their SPS measures, whether they relate to biotechnology, the pathogen reduction treatments we use to treat our poultry products, for example, that we'll need to resolve as well. So we're looking to use 2016 to make as much progress as we possibly can on TTIP.
The latest Huerman Lecture presentation with Darci Vetter and Clayton Yiter can be seen in its entirety online. We'll link to that presentation on the Market Journal homepage.